Yo tengo mi teoría.
Time to solve this.
Por si alguien no ha llegado. Maquinaciones de asesinato.
All right. Break out the notebook. Time to put it all together.
Let's start with this. It's an arrow for the crossbow, and it matches Freya's wound. It's the murder weapon. I'm sure of it.
Despite the fact it doesn't have any blood on it, and it wasn't found anywhere near the crime scene.
Mm-hmm. It was cleaned, then it was hidden. I don't think anybody expected us to get down to that room at the bottom of the lake.
Okay, so Freya was shot by a crossbow. Where was it fired from?
Por encima.
It was fired from above Freya.
Above, huh?
Yeah, our diagram doesn't show everything. Let's add in the rest of the crime scene.
The attic.
Perfect hiding place. We even found a part of the murder weapon up there. The reel was used to pull the arrow back up through the crack in the floorboards.
Claro.
Explains why we never found a weapon at the crime scene, I guess.
The murderer must have dropped the reel in the attic. I'm guessing they were in a hurry to escape.
Wait. The arrow was fired through the crack in the floorboards?
Sí.
Yeah, it's directly above where Freya was found lying on her back.
Nope. Doesn't add up. It would have missed her if she was still standing up by the painting.
Ah, right.
Unless...
Freya ya estuviera tumbada boca arriba.
Freya was already lying on her back before the arrow was fired.
Algo la tumbó, pero ¿el qué? Se había quedado inconsciente. Sí, algo pasaría.
She'd fallen unconscious.
Something in the room caused Freya to fall unconscious.
El gramófono. Algo habría en el gramófono que hizo un ruido horroroso. Porque hay varias declaraciones de que hubo un ruido metálico horroroso.
The gramophone.
Right.
But the gramophone by itself can't do that.
Había algo en el gramófono.
There was something in the gramophone.
Mm-hmm. Something small.
Que había escondido en el gramófono. ¿Una fruta de estas?
That's not it.
No. La cinta con la grieta,
That's not it.
¿no? La cinta. Y luego la tiraron al este.
That's not it.
No. ¿El huevo? No creo. ¿El gramófono dentro del
That's
gramófono?
not it.
Ajá. Casi acierto cuando digo que el gramófono está escondido dentro del gramófono. Algo pequeñito, como no sea una maqueta.
That's not it.
¿Una pintura?
That's not it.
Es que aquí nada de esto es pequeño. Esto, la estatua es muy grande, pero el cristal este...
That's not it.
¿Unas plumas?
That's not it.
La paleta no he probado, pero la paleta... ¿Por qué va a estar la paleta
That's
dentro?
right.
Hola, Cid. Joder. Algo muy pequeño. ¿Pero puedo decir el escarabajo?
Pointer's research says it can emit an incredibly loud hiss when it feels threatened.
Ah, no me acordaba de eso.
Witnesses both said they heard a loud noise around the time of the murder. Neither of them had any idea what it was.
This seems a little far-fetched. Is it really loud enough
Vale,
to
no
knock
sabía que,
someone out?
no sabía
No.
que seleccionar eso
I don't
seleccionaría
think
en
so.
plan
Not
el
like
escarabajo.
so.
O sea, que era el
Don't
papel.
forget, it was being amplified by the shape of the gramophone. Now, I don't think we're purely talking about volume either. It might just be a particular type of frequency.
This is getting kinda scientific. Since when do you know anything about the effects of weaponized audio frequency?
I don't, but I think someone else does. Do you remember that statue we found in the music room? The horn it's playing. It's a pretty similar shape to the one on the gramophone. That broken glass isn't there on accident. This is someone's science experiment.
Thinking about it, Pointer said he saw Flora was knocked out too.
Claro.
I guess they were both in range of the noise, although Pointer might have been lying.
Personally, I think he was telling the truth about that. It's pretty clear a powerful frequency did pass through Flora's tower. Caused quite a bit of damage too.
Por eso todo está rasgado.
Those cracks didn't appear out of nowhere.
La cinta estaba
Freya's
dentro.
pens, the pink cassette tape, and the gramophone itself, they all sustained similar damage while they were in that room.
That's some seriously powerful vibration. Enough to crack metal. Enough to knock someone out all the way across a room.
Yeah, that's the one thing I don't get. If the frequency was so powerful and had such a big range, how did the murderer pull it off? Wouldn't they have been in range too?
Los
Think
cascos.
about it. They can't have been much further away from the gramophone than Flora was.
Se protegió.
They protected themselves.
How?
These are some pretty heavy-duty earmuffs. I think they'd be enough to block out the sound.
Right. Let's go over everything from the start.
Poppy las puso ahí.
1. Freya is painting Flora's portrait. They're listening to music on the gramophone.
2. The murderer is hiding in the attic, wearing earmuffs.
3. The golden beetle starts to emit its hissing noise.
Hold on. How did it know?
The beetle?
Yeah, what triggered it at that particular moment? Pointer's research said it makes the noise when it feels threatened.
Claro. ¿Cuál fue la...?
Maybe something in the music?
Maybe.
4. Freya and Flora are both knocked unconscious by the vibrations. Freya lands on her back. She drops the brush and palette by her side.
5. The murderer fires the crossbow directly downwards.
6. The arrow is pulled back up on the reel.
7. The murderer leaves the attic, presumably.
8. The door is kicked down.
Presuntamente.
Fitz and Poppy enter the room.
That's it. There's something bothering me.
What?
I just want to check something. Let's go back to the crime scene.
Pero si es todo de noche. ¿Quieres comprobar? Pero esto ya tenemos todas las pruebas, ¿no?
I can see the stars.
¿Qué quieres comprobar exactamente? Yo no lo entiendo. Señora. Vamos a ver el cuadro.
The answer is in the painting. I'm sure of it.
Retrato pintado. Freya no pudo terminar el cuadro porque murió mientras lo pintaba. Flora parece estar empuñando un cuchillo y la sustancia roja de la punta resultó ser sangre. Freya puso la sangre en el cuadro y ella misma le cambiaron la pintura roja por sangre. Flora no tiene un cuchillo en la mano, está sosteniendo una pluma roja y blanca de un pájaro baño tinta. La verdad es que sí, estuvo bien, estuvo bien. Echo de menos.
Freya, did you leave us a clue?
¿Pero con esto puedo hacer algo? ¿Con eso puedo hacer algo? O sea, solo puedo hacer zoom, ¿no? Con esto no puedo hacer nada más. Esto no me sirve para nada, ¿no? Ah. No uso la pintura amarilla. Sí, eso sí, no la usó, pero yo entiendo que le iba a usar para el fondo. Pero no la llega a usar. No sé si eso es una pista. ¿Qué pasa? La pista que faltaba. La he encontrado porque ¿qué ha pasado?
So what's bothering you?
Something that's not here. The thing we didn't find. We know she was holding it during the painting.
Flora's ink dip feather?
It was here. In this room. Where'd it go?
Se quemó. La encontramos en otra parte.
Somewhere else.
La encontramos quemada.
We were a little too late to save it.
So it was stolen from the crime scene. And ended up in the incinerator down in the study.
Someone wanted to destroy it, I guess.
But how? How was it stolen from up here in Flora's tower?
Presumably, Flora dropped it when she fell unconscious.
Yeah, and then what? The murderer couldn't have stolen it if they were up in the attic.
So the question is, how could they steal something from a room they weren't able to access? The final clue about the crime scene. Freya left it for us right here.
Yo creo que está en el cuadro.
It's in the unfinished painting. It's not quite a photo, but still, it's an image of the crime scene recorded just before the murder. If only she'd finished it, and then I could be totally sure.
It's true she never finished it, but she did intend to finish it.
Meaning?
We know more about the painting than what Freya actually got down on the canvas. Freya prepared all the colors she was going to need before she started painting.
El color amarillo, la pintura amarilla, iba a usarse para pintar. Ese boceto, la pluma de baño tinta, el cráneo de Flora, la planta de la maceta. No puedo seleccionar el fondo. Este boceto de algo apoyado en la ventana.
The yellow paint was going to be used to paint the sketch of something sitting in the window.
Something in the window.
¡El pájaro amarillo! Me falta uno de los pájaros. El pájaro amarillo. A ver, ahí parece una de estas, pero habría que ver cómo es el pájaro. Pero el pájaro amarillo. ¡El pájaro!
There she is, our little thief.
How long has it been there? Did it hear the whole conversation?
Es un pájaro, no te entiende.
She did. But she's a very good listener. Well now, I think this has quite served its purpose, don't you?
The what?
Penny, why did you...
It's Penelope, if you don't mind. But before we begin, isn't there a certain formality demanding our attention?
What? Pero Penny no es con la que he estado hablando todo el rato en plana de los pájaros. ¿Por qué está vestida así? O sea, ¿se ha estado cambiando de Hawkshaw a Penélope a Penny todo el rato? O sea, qué coñazo, ¿no?
I'm afraid I have to insist. It's to the benefit of us all.
Bueno, vale,
I
pues te,
assure you.
pues te ato, pues te ato. Algo resistente con lo que atarle a las manos.
Lovely. Now, tell me, what was it that drove you this far? I'm ever so curious.
Justice for Freya.
Is that right? Interesting.
Pues que le ha
Why
cambiado
did
la
you
forma
do
de
it,
la
Annie?
cara y todo.
What did Freya do to you?
No entiendo.
Absolutely nothing.
So, what? You just hated her indiscriminately?
Freya Fellow was an inspiration to us all. She was possessed of a great energy. The volition to create something from nothing. The willpower to walk beyond her boundaries. She was truly free.
Vale.
Everything I couldn't be.
You know what? I just realized I actually have no idea who Penelope Pointer really is.
Weird, isn't it? Considering we've met her, what is it, 3 times now?
Exactly. How do we know this one isn't a disguise too?
You think you've already hollowed us out, don't you? Only a few short hours at Tangle Tower, and you feel like you've got everyone sussed. Unearthed every single one of our secrets. Nothing but bullet points for your notebook. Go on, indulge me. What does it say in your notes about Penelope Pointer? I suppose I can't argue with that, can I?
Penny, we only know what you choose to tell us, so why not help us out?
Very well. Penelope Pointer is actually not very important at all. She pales in comparison to those who came before her and to those that came after. Living at Tangle Tower, it is very difficult to attain the levels of self-realization you probably take for granted.
You sure this is a Tangle Tower thing, and not a you thing?
Perhaps you didn't notice. Not one of them is happy, not one.
So why stay? Why not just leave?
I thought she did leave. Penny, you said you traveled, didn't you?
I did. Many times I've walked away. It did not help me. You saw the family tree hanging in the grand hall, did you not?
Yeah,
Sí.
it lists a bunch of people who don't live here anymore.
A bunch of people who don't live here anymore. I couldn't have put it better myself. My mother, for one. My father, too.
Pues sí,
The
los
other
que...
2 Remingtons. Poppy's mother, Primrose. And her brother, Richard.
And Fitz's father.
That's 5. 5 people that might have lived here, but don't.
And that was the first question I wanted answered.
You wanted to know where they'd all gone?
More than that, I wanted to know if I belonged with them. I have no place here. Not among the Fellows, the Remingtons, or the Pointers. But I felt there must be a reason why everyone else left. Some common purpose they all shared. Perhaps it could be my purpose too.
So, what did you actually do about it?
Nothing I could do, at first. Nobody would tell me anything. The more questions I asked, the fewer answers I got. Then, I found it. I was 19. Same age Freya is now.
Found what?
¿El estudio o el ático? Supongo que el estudio.
The study. The one hidden in the middle of the house. It's right next to a bedroom.
I'd hear voices at night. Deep ones. And the strangest thing, the wall behind my bed would get incredibly hot. For hours on end. The paint would peel. Wallpaper wouldn't stay up. I thought I was cursed. I thought it was something trying to break through. Eventually, I couldn't take it anymore. I found my way in the same way you did. Once you know it's there, it's simple.
So, you got into the study and found the incinerator. That must have been a relief, right?
It was still warm when I found it. Then, I looked inside. Let's see how thorough you've been. Tell me, do you know what a misted is?
Misted?
¿Qué?
What?
As I expected. After all, their connection to the Freya case is minimal, at least at the surface.
Sorry, what are we talking about?
It's a collective term, from before my time. Birds, insects, amphibians, anything living off the lake water. The mutation can take several generations, or it can happen overnight.
Wait,
Sí que me cuente.
mistids, like cryptids, like Bigfoot or whatever.
A little egregious, isn't it? I suspect that was an intentional parallel. The main difference being mistids are perfectly real. They're just kept secret. Or at least, that was the original plan. As it happened, some got out. Quite a few got out.
How do you know all this?
When I entered the study at 19, I found a single object that rather changed my life. Something which answered my questions while at once creating all new ones.
¿Qué encontró? En el estudio nosotros encontramos la foto. No, pero esta es Penny. Esta es Penélope. Pero a ver, nosotros encontramos esto, el tablón que no tiene nada que ver, la libreta. ¿La libreta? No, no creo. Voy a decirle la foto de grupo.
The 5 missing family members standing together as a single unit, calling themselves the ambassadors of Misted Mansion.
So, the house was renamed from Misted Mansion to Tangle Tower?
And rightly so. The age of Misted Mansion is long past. When I looked inside the incinerator on my first visit to the study, I found nothing but ash. The afterimage of a bygone era, denied to me in its entirety. The study, the room at the bottom of the lake itself, all empty shells. I felt my only hope lay with the ambassadors. If I could find them, maybe they'd share the family history that Flora and the others were trying so hard to forget.
How did you track them down?
It was tough. They'd taken almost everything. Books, maps, charts, the creatures themselves, all lost, taken away or destroyed. But I got lucky. I got a lead. I found one, and he led me to the rest.
And? What happened? Why'd you paint out all their faces?
They didn't help you either, did they?
19-year-old me had imagined they'd all left with a mission, a unified purpose, but they hadn't. They were, in fact, every bit as fractured as the people that still live here. Most of them had left tracking escaped mistids. Some claimed to be researchers, others little more than hunters. All 5 completely useless to me.
Even your own parents?
Eventually, I returned to Tangle Tower. I had nowhere else to go. I considered giving up. But instead, I made a decision.
Una humilde entomóloga.
There was only one person at Tangle Tower still of interest to me. My dear Uncle Pointer had suddenly made a show of taking up astronomy. A fairly superficial charade. I don't think many people were fooled by it. But I knew it wasn't just a falsehood. It was a mask. Pointer had found something from the era of Misted Mansion.
Supongo que se refiere al
So
escarabajo.
where did he get the beetle?
I cannot be sure, but I theorize that he received it in the post.
In the post? From who?
Who can say? Someone outside Tangle Tower. But the thought that he would be in contact with such a person all that time I decided to take what was owed to me.
So you stole it.
Stealing the beetle turned out to be only the first step. Upon realizing it was gone, Pointer made little effort to disguise his frustration. I asked what was bothering him. He foresaw no risk in sharing a little of the truth with his niece. He told me he'd lost a rare treasure, something he'd been keeping safe. I suggested, innocently, that perhaps it was not lost. Perhaps it had been stolen. He was very ready to believe he'd been the victim of theft. When I offered to call in a private detective, he jumped on the idea. She arrived the next day. Hawkshaw prides herself on her punctuality, as you know.
Why, though? Why go through all that? The name,
Es que me parece muy enrevesado y como un sinsentido.
It's somewhat sad to admit, but I had little use left for Penny Pointer as she was. Hawkshaw afforded me new advantages, opportunities.
But didn't you have to pretend to be working for Professor Pointer?
Well, that was one of the advantages. Pointer was in such a desperate state, he was finally willing to share some of his secrets. On the second day, Hawkshaw explained she needed to be able to search the secret laboratory. Pointer gave in and gave me the code for the harp statue. Reluctantly, but still.
So, you stole Pointer's research?
I would have done, if I'd found anything worth stealing. But he had made remarkably little progress, barely scratching the surface of the beetle's true mystery.
Which is?
It carries an exoskeleton approximately 90% identical to gold. But it's not the 90% I'm interested in. Did you ever question what exactly makes the water here so unique? Before Misted Mansion was built over the lake, before the lake was even a lake, Lord Remington and his wife built a small structure here, a research station, supposedly. Fast forward 2 or 3 generations, and as you saw for yourself, it's been mostly cleared out.
The ambassadors took everything when they left.
And everything they didn't take was burned in the incinerator. However, possessing additional insight, I found something the others had missed. It's not much, but I have what I need.
So, why isn't this the end of the story? Why did you stay? Why did you kill Freya?
Es que no tiene ningún, no tiene ningún sentido la historia, las razones de mierda. Que es, en plan, las razones de mierda para matar a alguien. En plan, ay, es que aquí no pinto nada, entonces quería encontrar a las personas que vivían aquí antes, pero. No sé, un poco extraño, ¿no? O sea, no. Porque. O sea, parte de que no se siente en su lugar. Luego quiere buscar a la gente que vivió antes para ver si le dan algo de sentido o de. No sé. Se siente sola porque no tiene a nadie de su familia y la gente ahí está toda separada y en plan no se caen mal. Y entonces descubre que había un escarabajo que valía mucho, valía mucho, que era de medio oro y se hizo pasar por una. O sea, lo robó y luego le dijo al propietario original que alguien lo robaría y se hizo pasar por una detective para encontrarlo cuando ella lo tenía en primer lugar. Es que no lo entiendo. O sea, si tú robas algo, ¿por qué es que no lo entiendo? Y además no es que tú ayudes, es que te haces pasar por una persona que está ayudando, con lo cual tú misma puedes ser una sospechosa. También está un poco para allá, pero... Uf. La voluntad de Freya Fellow. Pero porque ella no quería en sí solo al escarabajo, quería todo el estudio y saber qué pasaba y todo eso. Pero ¿por eso merece la pena morir alguien?
Simply put, Freya was too good for me. It's my fault. I pushed her over the edge, unknowingly, but still, I take the blame.
What are you talking
Que esa es la protagonista.
Did you know I based the design for Hawkshaw on something Freya painted?
Ah, amigo. ¿Eh?
That's right. I had assumed it was purely abstract. I just thought it had a good energy. I later discovered it was a figure of some kind, something from Freya's recurring nightmare. For all her vitality, I think Freya was probably the most troubled of all of us.
Atribulada.
She was desperate to leave Tangle Tower, but she couldn't just walk away. For quite some time, she'd been trying to break into Pointer's laboratory. Freya and her friends were halfway through deciphering those symbols on the harp statue, I believe.
Why did she care about getting into Pointer's lab?
That's exactly what I wondered. At first, I thought perhaps she just wanted to free the beetles. She has a fondness for them. What Pointer was doing upset her significantly. But in fact, I think it was something else. I think she wanted to free Fiona. The real reason Freya was unable to leave Tangle Tower is that she could not get Fiona to agree to come with her. We're now firmly in the realm of speculation, but I think Freya felt that exposing the darker secrets of Tangle Tower, not just to the rest of the family, but to the world, would compromise all three families, and perhaps, somehow, free Fiona from the shackles of her inheritance. That was her plan anyway, but something happened. Before Freya could find her way into Pointer's laboratory.
She found her way into your study, found your notes, found that photograph. I'm willing to bet she put it all together quicker than we did.
So she worked out what had happened to the 5 ambassadors. Specifically, what you'd done to them when they refused to help you.
Freya had made a promise to paint floor.
Penélope les mató cuando no... Les mató cuando no quisieron ayudarla.
Several hours away from her friends. It was my best chance.
But why hide in the attic? And why bother with the beetle at all?
The beetle in the gramophone wasn't for Freya. It was for Flora. She didn't deserve to be involved. She suffered enough. I couldn't get Flora out of the room, but if she could be unconscious, then she wouldn't have to witness anything.
Why the knife? The illusion of the painted knife with the blood.
That was for Fiona. And Poppy too, I suppose. Gave them something to focus on.
You mean it distracted them while you made your escape?
It helped them cope. The very idea of something abstract, something supernatural. I believe it made things marginally less painful for them, initially. Worked on you, too.
Pero...
So why are you still here? Why not take your first chance and leave?
Well, I've been waiting for an opportunity to get my beetle back. I'd really rather not leave without it.
Wait, it's still here?
It's still inside the gramophone.
El pájaro. El puto pájaro. Se ha ido con nuestro barco, hija de puta.
What's going on?
Poppy, they are both awake.
I can see.
You two all right?
My head hurts. What happened to us?
You were both unconscious. 14 minutes by my count.
Really?
You're both fine. No injuries.
Was it the beetle? In the gramophone? I heard it through the ceiling in my room.
The exact same sound we heard before the murder.
I guess it must have been.
So how did we get down here? What happened to Penny?
Fit saved both of you, obviously.
When I reached Flora's tower, you were both unconscious, and Penny was crouched down beside you. She had her crossbow on her, but who knows? She may have just been checking you were both asleep.
Ya,
Did
claro.
you know that she was the murderer?
Poppy and Fifi suspected her. Apparently, they were pretty close to solving it themselves.
Fitz did not want to believe us, because he liked Penny. A lot.
Ajá.
But what happened? Fitz, what did she do when she saw you?
She jumped out the window.
What? Did she survive?
She did.
I heard something land in the garden outside my room, but by the time I got out there to check, she was already gone.
Hang on. Poppy, why do you have Penny's hat bird?
She left him behind. I found him sitting on the floor in the aviary, all by himself.
Es un
Poor
sombrero.
little thing. The mean lady didn't care about you at all, did she? No, she didn't.
Legacy, muchas gracias por los bitazos. Muchas gracias, muy generoso, bienvenido. Thank you very much.
So, Penny got away.
I'm afraid she did.
We had suspected she might try to escape. I was stationed here by the lake's edge. I proved to be an ineffective guard. She took the boat.
Did she take
Mides
the
metro y
boat?
medio.
Nope,
How do you know?
because it's right here.
¡Oh!
It was still in the gramophone. I guess I scared her off before she had a chance to take it.
Poppy, what are you going to do with it? Are you going to give it back to your father?
No, I'm not. It doesn't belong to anyone. So, I'm going to put it on the ground and never bother it again. I think that's what she would have wanted.
Y escapa. Ya estáis, aquí se acaba, se escapa. No la pillamos, vaya hombre. No sé, todo muy raro, ¿eh? Me queda un poco... Bueno, a ver, no sé. Penny criminal más buscada por 6 homicidios y conspiración. Claro, es que ha matado a 5 personas. 5, ¿no? Ya, yo me esperaba que fuese un poco más allá. Yo me esperaba que fuese un poco más allá. Bueno, a ver, sí, los 5 parientes. Sí, sí, no eran 4, eran 5. Un escarabajito. A ver, si los tacha. Si los tacha es que los ha matado. Logro desbloqueado Tangle Tower. La torre desenredada. Estaba en el ático. Saltó y bajó vestida de la detectiva a la biblioteca sin que nadie la viera. Salió y se encontró con su padre. Se quitó el disfraz. Claro, es que... Ella misma mintió. O sea, lo que sabemos es que ella mintió en su declaración, porque su declaración decía que Hawkshaw se cruzó con el profesor Pointer, se cruzó con Fellow y se cruzó con ella misma, cosa que no puede ser. Se cruzan ellas dos, claro, pues ese momento no existe. En ese momento, lo que pasa es que se quita el disfraz y sube detrás de su tío. Se quita el disfraz en el vestíbulo cuando no hay nadie más y sube detrás. Y luego sale con su padre de la habitación de Flora. Se meten en sus habitaciones, pero ella se vuelve a vestir de Hawkshaw y se va al patio. Y luego Fitz la encuentra allí. Sí, ya, no sé. Me queda un poco descolocada. Pero cambiarse de esto a lo otro, me cago en 10, ¿eh? Al final Fitz se queda con Poppy. Sí, yo creo que sí, hombre. Y sí, tenía que ser vestida de Hawkshaw por si la pillaban tener una coartada, sí. Hombre, ahora el nombre de Hawkshaw tiene sentido. Es Hawk, que es un pájaro, ¿no? Pues nada. Pues Tangle Tower terminado. Muchas gracias por acompañarme, chicos. Espero que os haya gustado tanto como a mí. Ha estado muy interesante. Claro, me recuerda... O sea, tiene similitudes con The Forgotten City en el sentido de que vas recogiendo pistas, vas enhebrando una historia y cuando ya has completado... ¿Sabes? Cuando tienes todas las pistas y completas el puzzle o el cuadro entero o lo que sea, de repente la historia da un giro, ¿sabes? ¿Para cuándo Phoenix Wright? No, pero no es el mismo tipo de juego. Pero eso, que nada, que muchas gracias, que... No sé, un juego más terminado. A lo tonto, es de 2022, estamos terminando un montón de juegos, ¿eh? A lo tonto.